and welcome to a live edition of Some Like It Classic. I'm Tami Goveia, and once again, I'm joined by event designer extraordinaire Edward Perotti. Hi.
Well,
Ed picked this film, and it is the 1955 classic film Picnic, starring William Holden, Kim Novak, Rosalind Russell. Will go through the whole amazing supporting cast. But this truly is like good choice, Ed, because
thank you.
this is the perfect summer movie.
It's the perfect summer movie. It's the perfect movie for that 13-year-old boy who doesn't quite know where he belongs in the house or the bedroom or the closet. Bill Holden. Anyway, keep going.
Yes, William and Kim, two extraordinarily beautiful people, and CinemaScope and Technicolor truly made them shine. Truly, just it gave the film such a wow factor.
Yes.
So I wanted to do just a little recap of what the film's about for those folks who are watching or listening. Thank you, audio podcast listeners, of what Picnic is about. So again, we had said 1955 is a drama directed by Joshua Logan. It tells a story of a small town summer picnic where a charming and mysterious outsider, Hal Carter, played by William Holden, arrives. And I love this description, stirring romantic and emotional tensions among the local residents. Kim Novak stars as Madge Owens, a popular girl caught between, I love this, desire for a life different from her own and the pressures of stability. The film explores themes of love and longing and the complexities of human relationships as the characters navigate their passions and longings during a single summer day. And that's one of the things I love about this film is it literally takes place in 24 hours. When you've got the day, you've got the picnic
You've
day.
got the day, you have the evening, and then it ends pretty much the next day. So yeah, 24, 36 hours.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It is one of those that when you see it, it just stays with you. And first off, I do have to apologize for the bedroom background. I know we're live, but we're not an OF. This is YouTube. But I am at the beautiful Meritage Resort getting ready to hang out with Grace Jones and actually have my own picnic. So timing is perfect for this. But no, this picture, it's so interesting, especially with the backstory on this picture, right? It actually was filmed in Kansas, in a small town. There was such an age difference between Bill and Kim.
Yes.
When they were filming, I mean, Bill was early 30s, and wasn't Kim 18?
She plays a 19-year-old.
But wasn't she was either 18 years old or like 22 years old, but she was like right in that window.
In that window?
I mean, because she was also, the up and coming Hollywood blonde that they turned and made her a redhead for this. So I mean, but it is one of those where, and I'm not, this generation now might not see themselves, but I connected with it because I saw the whole thing about doing what's expected, what your family expects you to do, and how do they want you to behave, and what's the path they want you on, never minding what you want, and all it kind of takes is that one voice, and that one voice to just, maybe it's telling you what you want to hear, maybe it's speaking to your soul, whatever it is, but that one singular voice that just says, you're more than this.
You're more than this. And the thing too is you resonated with, you're different. And this whatever, all the expectations of what you should be and what you shouldn't be and what you should do and not do. I resonated with the longing,
Hmm.
just feeling I need to get out of here. I don't know where I'm going to go, and I don't know what's going to happen, but I know I need to leave. I know
Well,
I need to leave.
what and the team's probably gonna come over here and smack me in the head when I say this, but I also suggested this movie for especially for this month because the undertones are a perfect pride undertone. And with June being Pride Month, right?
Absolutely.
This whole desire to be yourself when society is pushing you to be something else. And you know you're not that. Your heart and your soul and every being is screaming out. And it when you watch Kim's performance, the first time you watch it, most people are going to say she's doing the Joey Tribbiani smell the fart acting, right? Where it's kind of deer in the headlights, doe eyed. But when you watch it again, you really start seeing the nuances that she was able to carry off of just this glazed expression
Yeah.
of, yes, mother, of course, mother,
Yep.
right? But her eyes would dart, and it just to me it just spoke so much about finding your inner self,
Yes.
finding your desire, and then having the wherewithal and that complete sense of damn the torpedoes, I don't care the consequences, I'm going,
And
this is who I am.
this film is about that journey.
Hmm.
I guess there are moments that are literally the light switch gets turned on and you make that immediate choice.
Yep.
But this film really allows for the journey of allowing.
Well, and what's interesting, it's also not Kim Novak's character. It's mom,
Yes.
right?
And
Mom's journey of wanting the stability and forcing her daughter into this life with
it was
Cliff.
just so heartbreaking to watch, Ed. It's so heartbreaking because there really wasn't a villain in this film.
No,
There
there is
really
no
wasn't.
villain.
There was bad behavior.
Yeah.
There were, questionable choices, but there was no villain. And we had talked briefly about this, but I wanted to just get into the importance. Obviously, William Holden is William Holden. Kim Novak, up and coming ish, but, Kim Novak. But the supporting cast
Yes.
in this film cannot go without being mentioned. So you had mentioned the mother, played by Betty Field. Flo is the mother. And as you said, she just broke my heart because she was
Yeah.
so living vicariously through her daughter and just wanting so much for her because she didn't, husband leaves. She's now a single mother. She's raising two daughters. She's got the support of the neighbors
Well, and the tenants and all
and
that,
the
right?
tenants and that sort of thing. But at the end of the day, uh, her trying to convince Madge that, honey, your beauty is your ticket out.
Right.
Your beauty is your ticket out. Now, Millie, the sister who's played by Susan Strasberg, her ticket was being super smart. Like, likely she's going to go off to college. That's her ticket out of this place.
But what's funny is Millie had both. I mean, they tried
He
to make
did, but
they took the smart
yeah,
girl that's pretty and tried to make her, the typical Hollywood thing, put glasses on her so she looks smart.
right,
Take the pretty
right.
girl, slap
Or,
glasses on
or
her,
not as pretty,
right?
put some
She's not
glasses
as,
on her. Yeah. Put a cap,
but
baseball cap on her and some tomboy clothes.
but
Yeah.
the undertones of longing that she has for Cliff Robinson makes you always kind of wonder, does she step in to that role with him? Because she's got a crush on him. And now with older sister moving on, does she step into that role and be the pleaser for? There's so many, they leave you in a place where you're like I don't even believe the ending is what people say it is, right? But anyway, back to the supporting cast before we even get to that. um Rosalind Russell,
Yeah.
had she I thought it was really interesting that before the director could even say the name of the movie, he started to say Pitt, and apparently she cut him off and said yes. Before he even went through the whole thing, she was like, yes. She did not want them to submit her for an Oscar. She would have hands down won for this role. There
I
is no
wonder.
doubt in my mind she would have won best, but it was supporting. And Rosalind Russell would never take a best supporting actress
I
award.
wonder who was up in 1955 for best supporting. That would have been interesting.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I believe she was. I had at that point, 1955, I had never seen a woman play that type of role.
What does that mean?
Well, she was the prim and proper, but there was that fire underneath her, right? She what was she, and there's no way to say this properly from a man's point of view. So to all the women out there listening, I'm apologizing right now for this, but she's older, so society would look at her as spinster-ish,
Absolutely. Yeah.
but that woman was horny as anybody could be, right?
Very sexual.
And she completely sexual.
Absolutely.
And thank you for putting it proper versus, my words. But she played it with this subtle desperation of wanting to be seen and seen for what she thinks she is and desired. But once again, she's settling for the other man because
Oh,
that's all that's in front, right?
this is great. Look who, thank you, Flobo, for this.
You're gonna
1955, Eva Marie Saint won for
on the
On the
waterfront.
Waterfront.
I loved her performance, but no, Rosalind would have beat her.
Let's see,
Well,
Nina,
that's best actress. Lobo, do
exactly.
you have best supporting? Because I'm sure he's cussing me out in the tech room right now. Um, but it's
High and the Mighty, the High and the Mighty. Wow.
the women in this were written with such desires,
Mm.
and they're playing them good middle America, Midwestern um, morals. You women, you suppress it. You
Oh,
don't show it,
absolutely.
right? You don't
Right.
show that whatsoever. And when she finally explodes, when he rejects, oh, here we go. Best
Oh, the
actress, best
country
supporting
girl.
role. Oh, she was supporting. That's weird that they tagged Eve Marie Saint as supporting for On the Waterfront.
Well,
Okay, yes, I
is
know it.
there wouldn't have been, she would, is there any other actress in that film that had a stronger lead than
No,
her?
that's what I mean. She's the leading woman. She's the
There's
leading
no,
lady.
maybe it was an age thing.
Well, it's how the studio decided to push it, is what.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, going against, that's a pretty hardcore list of best actresses.
That's crazy. Judy Garland, Audrey Hepburn, that's just insane
Yeah.
in my brain. 1955, what a year.
But I do believe that was it's such an it's a not a discussed role for Rosalind. And she aging in Hollywood,
Yeah.
and she she went for it.
So, Mame,
Hmm.
was this before or after? Was Picnic before or after?
I have to think Picnic was after Mame.
Was after? Okay. Okay.
It has to be after.
Which would support why she wouldn't want to be in a supporting
Yeah.
category. Yeah, that makes sense. But still, to your point, it's just it There were so many moments in this film that were just heartbreaking, and her, uh,
That final scene where the one photo that Flobo just put up, it just it just gets me. It
it
just
just guts you.
yeah, it
You
really
think it's
does.
all judgy. Oh my gosh, I can't believe she's behaving this way. But when you really look at it for what it is, and Rosalind Russell's performance makes it very clear the desperation of this woman.
Yep.
It's do or die. It's life and death.
And then
It's
to be
not that she's
rejected.
had too much to drink,
Yeah.
right? This is life and death for her. And then
Yep.
when we get into her, that conversation with Howard, I don't want to give too many spoilers away, but that I'm there are tears in my eyes because nobody wants to be in that dark place
Yeah.
of feeling if this doesn't change now, my life is over.
Yeah.
That's such a horrible place. It's just so terrifying.
And you have to imagine, based off of things we've read and how we've seen in TV shows and other movies, how women were portrayed,
Yeah.
that there is a lot of accuracy in that from an age perspective. I mean, to me, it's that Hollywood mentality, right? Ingenue to mother to crypt keeper.
But what's interesting? I think that is absolutely true, and it became even more so as the years went on. But when you go back to the 20s and 30s and even 40s, the character actresses ruled cinema. I mean, even the actors, women and men over the age of 50 made the films just as much as Humphrey Bogart did. And some of these women, we had Verna Felton, who played Helen Potts.
Hmm.
And that conversation that she has with the mother at the picnic, where they're
Yeah.
sitting on the bench, and she's thanking Flo for the support of being, the honor of being able to see the girls being raised, because her whole life is taking care of her mother.
I think what's interesting with the whole picture is when you watch it, you know it was on Broadway.
Yes.
The scripting,
Yes.
the moments, right?
It was a book,
It was right, and
a
then
Pulitzer Prize, yeah, winner.
and then so you watch this and you're like, this is not a Hollywood writer script idea. This is somebody saw the show, thought it would translate really well, and kept it pretty true to the whole thing of it, except for the one casting that I did not like in this movie. Um, but it has so many moments with characters that you only usually get back then in film on a stage.
Yes. There were conversations.
There were true conversations and real emotion. And that's why it's like I think it's kind of funny that when you watch this and you know some of the backstage stuff, that Kim Novak being so intimidated by the whole process and by Bill, that there's one scene where apparently he punches her in the stomach to get her to react because
So
she
which scene is that?
I don't they will never ever say what scene it is.
So
But
this
it
isn't the dance scene that you said there's a whole story
oh my
behind
god,
that.
okay, so the dance scene, neither one of them can dance. Neither one of
That's
them have
pretty
any rhythm.
clear. That's
So, oh, it's so damn clear. It's like, I hope to God they do other things movement wise better together because they can't dance. They've got no rhythm. But the fact that the DP figured out a way with the lighting and making the camera dance. So all they had to do was wiggle their hips.
yes. And she, to Kim Novak's credit, her coming down the stairs. And
I mean,
that's one of my, I don't know if you know this, but that's one of my phobias is someone saying, I want you to run down the stairs and not look down, just full on run down the stairs. That's not easy to just walk down without, where am I going? Do I have handrails? Oh my God.
See, you could do it, and you know that I'd be the one flying off the stairs going face planting. It's like all of a sudden I just had a flashback to high school and the Music Man falling into the orchestra pit.
It happens. It's a pit.
It's a pit.
It's a pit.
It's just, but
beware of the pit, Ed. Beware of the pit. I'm getting you a baseball cap.
Beware of the pit. Beware of how far and how hard you push yourself on the stage floor, because you can't stop when you start sliding.
There you go.
But no, I watched that dancing, and even though they have no rhythm, it's still sexy.
Yes.
It is still, because the way their eye contact is, right? I mean, they're just, there's so many things that are wrong that the way they shot it seemed right.
Yes, because still it was all, whether this was the cinematographer or what have you, it was so fluid.
Yes.
They're coming in together. The way he opened his hand and she put her hand in his, it was so fluid and so seamless, which really made the whole scene so sensual.
Well, and then the other thing I always thought was really funny, coming off of Sunset Boulevard, William Holden was so conservative. He didn't want the role because he didn't want to take his shirt off. He's like, no one wants to see my age man shirtless. And I'm like, hello? Yeah.
I've always said William Holden is, one of the, not the few, but one of the classic film actors who aged.
Oh my God. Even in Towering Inferno.
We can go to,
I mean, no, that man could do no wrong.
Yeah.
The one casting that I did not, and I understand money and all that with the producers, but Paul Newman was playing Cliff Robinson's part on Broadway.
Okay.
But they didn't think he was a big enough name. So they brought in Cliff. And, Cliff at that point is pretty established.
Mm-hmm.
But if you think about it, would I have walked away from Cliff Robinson for William Holden? Yes. Would I have walked away from Paul Newman for William Holden? I would have been torn.
Right. Well, which is why it was, at the end of the day, the best casting decision.
I don't know. Well, because at the end of this whole thing, I still don't believe she goes with Bill. I still don't. He's on a train. She's on a bus.
But you see the bus following the train.
Yes. But
there's that. Well, they didn't have drones back then. You had the aerial view.
But they're not together.
No, they're not.
So is he her means to get out?
Well,
see, you're going to be the romantic. I'm going to be the
well, no, I'm a romantic insofar as, does it end up working out?
No.
Right? If in a perfect world, but chances are it didn't, but that's not the point. The point is he woke her up.
But she still leaves on her own.
Yes, exactly.
In her own trend. She doesn't go with him. So he's not. So from her mom's perspective and everyone else's eyes, she didn't run away with him. Because he took off.
I did appreciate the fact that when he started to run to the train, I remember seeing it for the first time thinking, oh, honey, please don't just run with him to the train. Like, that's not realistic. To me, it would have been it, and this is what they did. He ends up, you love me, and gets on the train. But she hasn't come to that point yet. And what changed her mind? Who changed her mind?
Yeah.
Sister. Right. For the first time in your life, do something right. And maybe it was the first time for Madge where someone actually encouraged her to follow her heart.
gave her permission.
Yeah, to not care about what everybody thinks, because this is how you've led your life up until right now. And when she was given that permission by little Miss Yoda Millie, then she packed her suitcase.
Yeah.
Because if Millie hadn't said that, I truly believe Madge would not have left.
No,
She wouldn't have had the strength to do that.
everybody, all the voices would have started coming into her head.
See?
Yeah.
Where her mom's, she's like trying to extract her arm. Oh my God, it's my heart. Oh,
Yeah. People need to watch this.
yeah, you need to watch it. You need to watch it. I wanted to read something, and this is I got off of Instagram. It's a William Holden appreciation fan page, and that's actually the name of the Instagram profile, William Holden Appreciation, and it's a quote from Kim Novak in 1956, where she says, "You can't find a finer man than Bill. He's a perfect gentleman, the ideal man. The way he is on the screen, everyone would find him that way. Women all love him. He's very nice and fine to work with." Now, while this to me sounded a little scripted, he's very nice and fine. Sounds a little awkward, but I would like to think that she walked away from this experience as it being good. Have you heard it?
So what I've read is she did, and I have in other iterations in different cast members, they've always described him as a gentleman.
That makes sense.
And it's and I do think his now would he have been that way had his career skyrocketed after Golden Boy, like they thought it would?
Yeah.
Maybe not. But I think all that fame so hard, so fast with it was Golden Boy, right? The boxing movie.
Yes.
And then to literally start not make revenue in box offices after that had to have been extremely humbling. And then boom, Sunset Boulevard comes and you're taking it because it's like, this isn't right. I mean, old screen star Norma Desmond, Gloria Swanson, who's out, William Holden, who's out, Max, I can't remember what his name was, the director. Anyway, they're all three of them were kind of not in the Hollywood circle anymore. So I do think that he probably had to have learned some humble pie.
Yeah.
And just be grateful for what you have. That's how I like to think about it, because like I said, I've read consistently that he was tough to work with, but he was a gentleman. And we all have worked with those kind of people who are hard to work with and are a complete utter pain in the butts.
Yeah.
Right. And you kind of want to smack him in the face because as a human being, I would rather have somebody be a hard worker and be a diligent worker and perfect their craft, but still be kind and still have empathy, and had he, her being the age she is and he would have seen the Hollywood machine eat up and spit out girls like her.
Absolutely.
And the fact that Kim Novak was very innocent at that point. And you can even see it in her performance.
You can. It played, who she was at the core was completely right for this role.
So I think, I truly think this whole thing of him just looking out for her has to be true, just because she came out stronger. She didn't come out damaged goods. She didn't came right. I mean, she came out of this one like a bullet. Hair went back to blonde, which honestly I love her as a redhead.
Yeah.
But it's I don't know. I'm with you. I wish there was a time machine and you could just be a fly on a wall and go back and just see.
Gosh almighty.
I would want to be the fly on the wall in this dressing room, but that's a whole other conversation. God, I'm like a little spicy right now. Must
You're
be
distracted.
seeing
You're
Grace
a little
Jones.
distracted.
I'm a little distracted. You know, I got Slave to the Rhythm in my head. But no, it is one of those, if if there's individuals who feel that they don't have a voice, if
Mm,
they feel that they're always there pleasing someone else, and for some people that's a choice. And I'm not going to say
it's
that that's
always a
wrong.
choice.
But if you ever felt that you have this desire to be more than what you are
Or
in
what people
any,
expect you to be.
this is a film that will
Mhm.
speak to you.
Yeah.
And that's where I would encourage everybody to watch it.
Ernie was watching it with me. So funny. Uh, when the evening of the picnic and everything happens, Ernie saying to me, "Oh gosh, oh no, he's not going to go for his pal's girl now. Like this can't." He was totally blaming Bill Holden. Like, oh no, he's going to go after her. He can't do that. This is his friend's girlfriend, and it was really her. We won't give too much away. It was kind of a role reversal of how it all played out. But at the end, he just kind of Ernie just kind of sat back and said, well, this film isn't what I expected it to be.
It's not. And
Yeah,
that
exactly.
and I do think that that's also why it doesn't have that broad of an audience nowadays. It's one of those that people don't talk about what it is,
Mm.
right? And the marketing for it was very romance novel cover to
Okay, so when I was looking for a decent description for this film, it called it a romantic drama. And I thought, okay, I'm Xing the romantic word because I don't find it romantic.
no.
It's a drama, no question, but romantic?
Yeah, it's
So
there. I
it's
don't,
interesting.
there's
It's interesting.
nothing. Now, is it sexy? Yes,
Yeah.
but it's not romantic at all.
No, at all.
And that's why, like I said, when you look at how it was marketed as, okay, this is going to be hot. This is going to
Yes.
be right.
And I do love the fact that the heat factor. It's a
Oh,
hot summer day. Like, don't you love films that incorporate the heat of the weather with the storyline? Because it was perfect.
well, what was that? The other, what was it? Kathleen Turner, Body Heat.
Body heat, right?
That
Just
was the sweatiest, sexiest movie on
right.
the
It's
planet.
just you're just constantly everyone's just like this.
Well, and then the funny thing is that through the filming of it, it was thunderstorms and rainstorms through the whole thing. That the actual picnic outdoor scene had to be shot in a studio because they
Really?
had short windows for the outdoor scenes that it wasn't thunder, lightning, and raining through the whole production.
Oh, I love that.
So I'm like, so are they faking the heat, or was it Kansas in the summer with the rain and the
The
humidity, which
humidity.
meant they were just drippy?
Right. 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 Well, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I want to get to what you do best, and that is how can we take the heat of this film, the aesthetics of this film, and create a picnic that maybe has a happier ending? I don't know.
Well, I'm going to say because there's food involved with an actual picnic, it is already a happy ending.
Yes, that's true.
So, I there are so many different ways of doing a picnic, right? I mean, and picnic is one of those. Let's go on a picnic is such an ambiguous term,
It is.
and it's very much flavor of the day, whose palate is talking about it, what's in their head when you say it. But if we're talking in reference to this movie, and I really wanted to use this movie as inspiration, first off the bat, you'd have to you have to remove the formality.
Mm,
You need to be close to the ground. You need to be comfortable, but maybe slightly uncomfortable, to where you have to position your body in certain ways. Like first off, I love this because it's pallets.
Yeah.
It's stuff you would find at a grocery store in the back, and you pull
In the
those
back,
out, right?
next to the dumpsters, you know.
Next to the dumpsters. But then there's also these companies across the world that actually take all the ugly fruits and vegetables that can't be sold in the grocery store, and they're perfectly fine to eat, but they mark them way down and everything. So to create a centerpiece with all the ugly fruits and vegetables,
Mm,
with that, and you're spending maybe $10
yeah.
on something like that. But what this leads into is the whole idea of, yes, you can use flatware. That's fine. But to truly use this movie as inspiration, you need to use your fingers.
Mm,
You need to feed yourself. You need to feed someone else. You need to reach and grab the food. There is nothing more hot on a hot day than grabbing a chilled strawberry and putting it in your mouth and
here
bite.
I'm thinking of a piece of fried chicken. It's
Oh,
not very hot, but it's just that, to your point, it's using your hands.
but
It's a
it's using
very,
your hands,
yeah,
right?
it's the whole experience of eating.
And
Of yeah.
it's also putting you in touch with the people around you. But like I really love doing things like this where, those are old coffee bean bags, and you're just filling them up with the bean bag fillers, the little foams or whatever,
Yeah.
and sewing them shut. Simple. And then you're using the burlap across, once again, across tables or pallets or whatever. But something like this, even though it looks large, it's intimate, because you could set this up as dates. You could have 6 or 8 friends and have two of these tables set up.
Yeah.
And yeah, you could all talk together, or you could just be alone in your moment. And then, once again, going back to the food, really small, deconstructed, right? I mean, the whole thing with the cakes and pies in the movie.
It was so amazing.
I get hungry every time I see those. I'm like, give me whipped cream and an
I
apple pie.
I love the doggy who's like going into everyone's picnic basket. That was just precious.
That would be me. Just for the record, that would be me. six
Oh
foot
my
four, I'd be
gosh.
the Great Dane, right? Nobody would see. But that's the other part as well, is once again using this movie as inspiration, is I would lean so heavy into desserts,
Mm.
and more so to modernize them and just do them deconstructed, so that once again you can use, I'm sorry, I had to throw something in for pride. um,
Absolutely.
but it's
Is
it's unique
that
food.
sugar like gummies?
Those are gummy rainbows.
Oh my gosh, they're so, oh, my mouth is watering.
But how simple are those to do?
Yeah.
Anybody could do something like that.
Yeah.
But they're a moment, right? And it's so I had to throw something pride in. It's Pride Month, and we're talking about a movie that speaks to people's inner soul. So,
Yes.
but really lean into the desserts. Can you do a deconstructed apple pie? Can you do a strawberry shortcake that is not presented in the normal way? Can you do it in, I think I have a picture here, Flobo, of it's one of the beaches where um, I did this one little setup, but I started using the, and I saw these in India, but they're the tiered canisters. So that's a
Mm.
three-tier canister, and they're completely separate. So I could build a salad in one, an entree in another, and dessert in another, and it all collapses, it's all there, and everybody has their meal.
Oh my gosh, I love this concept.
And you could literally build the coolest dessert tasting in one of these. And by nature, it would move around anyway. So you just do it deconstructed. But something like this kind of harkens back to the days when they would have the big cake boxes and they'd walk around with the pies, and how they would bring the chicken out for everyone to eat. It was all so well presented and so comfortable. Thank you, Tiffins. Tiffins. Um,
Fins. Okay.
it's funny because I found these and I saw these in India, and then when COVID hit, I was using these through COVID for events. So we would customize meals for people, and so that each entree would be different, but then
Right.
each person's name was on their canister.
I mean, this is great. Even, if we're here, I'm here in Los Angeles, and, for the Hollywood Bowl,
Yes,
because they come in different sizes. I mean, you've got, to your point, you've got the main meal, or maybe, a salad, the main meal, and then a little dessert. And it's just so contained.
you
That's
eat in it,
so
you
great.
close it up, you take it, you put it away. But I'm not a big carry a picnic, massive picnic basket person. I want to spend more time with the people I'm with and do something unique and special with the food experience. And I've just found that these are ways to do a unique food experience that's unexpected.
Yeah. And I totally agree. And there's nothing more stressful than watching a host of a party completely stressed out because they're trying to manage the food and the drinks, and why are we even here? The host is just going to run around like a chicken with its head cut off. So anything that you can do to just minimize all of that so you can enjoy the people that you're with.
Well, and everybody, there are so many, it's a hot button for me, but the dietary restrictions that everybody has. And people aren't shy of saying. I mean, you could have a dinner party for 10 people, and you potentially could have 6 people with dietary, and all different
For
dietary
sure.
restrictions. It is the most awkward thing to then have to figure out all of that in a live scenario when you're sitting around. With these, and from a picnic mentality, you can prearrange them. You can arrange your lactose free people or your vegans or everything and just stack them and their names on it, and nothing gets interrupted. It's like, oh, Sally, here's yours.
Yeah.
Here's your vegetarian. Here's this. It's the same amount of work that you would do normally. You're just making it seamless.
Yeah. And I love, you had said this at the beginning, the informality of it all, because the film is loose.
Yes.
The energy is loose. The conversations are loose. It's just this, I mean, it fits perfectly to, that idea of being low to the ground, that it literally grounds you.
Yes. Well, and that's where, once again, this film and the idea of an actual eating picnic go together, right? It is grounding. It is very much about authenticity or claiming your authenticity. It's why can't your picnic be the same thing? I mean,
Mhm.
I not that I'm going to tell people to not go to a Subway and get their sandwiches and do all of that. I mean, there are moments where that's fine. But if you really want to make a moment to remember and you happen to see a film that inspires you to do it, take a step back and also talk about giving something back to the people you're with. You get to tell a story of why did you do it this way? It's like, oh my God, last Saturday I was watching, I'm flipping through and there was this movie, it was called Picnic, and this happened and this happened, but they had these amazing desserts. And all I wanted to do was have an apple pie, strawberry shortcake, and a hummingbird cake, right? And I wanted them all together. And oh, by the way, audience, if you've never had a hummingbird cake, find someone who can make a real one. It'll change your life.
Southern, yes?
It's Southern. Oh
It's
yeah, it
Southern.
is.
It's
It
like,
is a Sunday
yeah,
after church cake,
it's,
and
yeah.
there are very few things that make me. No, that's not true. I can't say
No,
that.
you swoon right and left, Ed.
I do swoon right and
You
left,
do
but
swoon. You're a
for the right
swooner.
dessert, I really swoon right and left over William Holden without a shirt. But it's you want to be able to bring people in, right? And when we talk about events and we talk about gatherings, everything we're doing is telling a story. Everything is telling a story. Why are you using that flatware? Why is the centerpiece that? You're still telling a story. So why not use a film as the inspiration? Why do something that everybody expects?
Right.
And find those little things. I mean, why couldn't you get battery powered little candles that are what, $1 each at a little convenience store and get a Chinese lantern and some fishing line and drop them from a tree where you guys are sitting on the ground?
And those
All
lights were
up,
so beautiful, weren't they, in the film at the
they were
picnic at night?
gorgeous.
Wow.
And it's so simple. And but it creates a mood. And it's all it takes is watching these scenes and letting your brain go
Mm.
and just listening and absorbing the creativity.
And believing that you can do it.
Oh my God, 100. Well, first off, anybody who tells me they're not creative, I will do the Italian smack in the back of the head. Because if you are a human being and you're breathing, you are creative. We all are. Some of us have gotten maybe a little too in tune with it and have put it on steroids, but everybody has it. The way you dress is creative, whether
Yeah.
you think it is or not. You know, I'm sure people are going to make the comments, I have no style, right? And not creative. Well, actually, yeah, you do, because you are thinking about the fact that what you might not have on isn't correct. So you actually know what you want to do. You just don't know how to do it. You need to get, like this movie, give your permission to be creative.
Mm.
There is no failing when it comes to something like this. There's zero failing because you're giving yourself.
And that
And
matters.
well, and if you think
That's all that matters.
that's all that matters, and if anybody thinks that someone's going to judge them over their picnic or their dinner party or any of that, the hell are you inviting them over in the first place?
Yeah.
Right? Those aren't the people you want in your lives. You want the people in your lives who are actually going to recognize that you attempted a super hard recipe and you didn't burn it. Right? I mean, celebrate that. Celebrate the fact that, once again, I watched this movie and what really got me was the dancing. I don't know what it was about the dancing, but it just got me. Okay, so let's take that feeling that you had when you saw that scene and how do you translate that for a small event? The lighting, the what's the food that's going to help make that physical tension heat with people, right? What's going to do to inspire it and for you to be able to tell that. That to me is the fun. That's the absolute beauty of getting inspiration, especially from the classic films, because they spent so much time on the environments and the lighting and the mood so that the actors could just be.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't playing on a green screen. They weren't playing on this. They were in
Yeah.
the world.
They were inspired
Yes.
by their environment. You know, you
100.
hear actors say all the time, once I stepped into a costume, it changed everything.
Yep.
You know, once you step into the environment, it absolutely influences you. So to
Well, in fact,
create these moments.
I haven't heard comments like that from actors until Wicked came out because they fully built those sets
The
and they immersed
fantastical world, yes.
you, and all you had to do was let the character come out,
Play pretend.
right?
Yeah.
And it's how much more of an inspiration as an audience member do you need to see somebody just that free without having to think about, oh, I need to hit my mark here.
Right.
I got all these stupid golf balls all over me
Right.
for the
Exactly.
CGI part of it. So I mean, it's no different from an event perspective. Is really look at just give, and I keep saying this all the time, and our audience is going to hate me for this eventually, but
No, they won't.
you want to give people you. If you are the hostess or host, giving them you will ensure that you're giving them an evening or a day to remember.
Yeah.
It's special, it's unique, and if anybody says one thing negative, drop kick their happy, snarky ass out of the room.
Yep. They're not invited next time.
They're not invited.
They're not invited. And thank you
And
so much for suggesting this film. It had been a while since I'd seen it, and it just felt, I didn't realize we didn't talk about the whole train symbolism.
yeah,
There's just so many. It's literally a film you could see 2 or 3 times and walk away with, wow, I didn't pick up on that. Or, oh, well, I thought this might have happened, but now I don't believe this happened. So, Picnic,
picnic,
1955, an amazing year. Thanks to Flobo for shooting on the screen the best pictures and actors and supporting as well. It was an incredible year for classic film. Where can folks find you, Mr. Perotti?
I was going to say the post office wall, but no, that's
Not this weekend.
not this weekend. No, they can find me on Instagram at Perotti EA, or hunt me down. Just type my name into Google and you'll find my website, and DM me, ask questions. I absolutely love, which is really hard to believe, but I love getting questions through Instagram on, hey, I'm doing this. What do you suggest? I absolutely love that because that tells me that people are actually thinking.
Yes.
So
They're inspired. They've been
they're inspired,
by something, right?
and that's what we should be doing. We should be inspiring people to be their best selves when it comes to gatherings, or I should be. So anyway, they can find me. I'm not going to say hunt me down because that could open up to a sci-fi movie. But yeah, feel free.
Love it. And I just want to thank everyone who's watching now, and, or maybe they discover this particular segment. We always say, whether you're at the gym or if you're, in the car and you're listening to the audio version of it, we're just so appreciative of the fans of classic film, of JLJ Media. We just so appreciate the support. You can find Someone Like It Classic on Instagram at Like It Classic, and on Facebook at Someone Like It Classic. You can find me on Insta at Tami.Goveia, and on Facebook at Tami Goveia. You'll be able to find this particular segment, the video portion of it, on JLJ Media. Go on YouTube, get on JLJ Media. And for our audio listeners, it's on Spotify and iHeartRadio and Apple and all those platforms. Again, thank you so much. This has been a JLJ Media production. And until we meet again,